Hello, salutations, and, happy birthday to Neopets. I had this idea I have had this idea for a while, but I didn't really know when to do it, but this seemed like the perfect time. So basically this is, a sort of tag or meme or questionnaire, whatever you'd like to call it. So how it works is that there are a series of questions that I will put in the description, and I'll go first, and then you can try if you want to, and maybe I'll tag somebody, I don't know. I'm kind of nervous, but you don't have to be tagged necessarily, but if you do it and then you want to tag a friend and then they can tag someone, or you can tag multiple people, however you want. And I also want to say that it doesn't necessarily have to be a YouTube video or a YouTube video in which you are actively speaking to the camera. You could even just answer the questions in the comments if you want, or you could do a Twitter thread or a Tumblr post, or if you have like another blog, you could do a DeviantArt journal. I don't know. I just want this to kind of be accessible to everyone in the community. I just thought it would be, a sort of a fun thing to do in this new era of Neopets, to engage people and to allow them to connect, and it's just supposed to be kind of lighthearted and fun, and I really want it to be accessible to everybody. So although I'm starting this on YouTube, and I would really love for other people in the YouTube community to partake, you don't have to be on YouTube. Like, I want everybody to feel included, regardless of their comfort level or the platforms they prefer to use. So yeah, that's about all I have to say about that. So without further ado, the first question is, how long have you been a Neopets user? Well, I started playing on August 1st of 2002. It was through like the sort of daycare program that I was in during the summer while my mom was working. There was this other girl that was sort of in this program with me, and she was talking about this amazing website she'd discovered where you could adopt pets and play games and care for them, and like, I was massively into virtual pets at the time. They were kind of a cultural phenomenon in sort of the late 90s, early 2000s, so I was absolutely enthralled by what she was telling me. And when my mom came to pick me up, she still hadn't told me the name of the website. She was like, "Oh, I can't remember." And I insisted, that we not go home until she remembered. Which is kind of funny because of my social anxiety. I feel like I've sort of missed out on so many opportunities because I was too shy and too afraid of being judged, even by my own mom, to really sort of push towards the things I wanted. I was always really interested in figure skating, for example, but I never asked my mom if I could have lessons because I was embarrassed about it, even though she's like the most supportive person in my life and the person I trust the most. I just always had this barrier inside of me, which I'm really trying to actively overcome now. But anyways, it's just funny that Neopets ended up being really such a huge influence on my life, and it was the one thing that I really sort of pushed on and insisted that I know what it is about so I could access it as well. So that's that. And the next question, what is the origin of your username? My username is Salem822, which is sort of a reference to the character from Sabrina the Teenage Witch. He was a black cat. Well, he wasn't really a cat. He was a guy who got turned into a cat as punishment. But he was like a cat throughout the run of the show, and I just loved animals. I loved everything to do with animals, so I really appreciated that this show featured a talking animal, this talking cat, and I just thought he had a really cool name. I was really into that name at the time, so that is, when it came time to pick a name for my account, that was like the first thing that came into my head as something that I thought was really cool. And then the 822 part is my birthday, August 22nd. And then, okay, so that is my username origin. I thought, I don't know, I know a lot of people want to change their usernames, but I think there's something very charming about seeing these, like, the range of usernames that exist on Neopets, and sort of you can see a range of trends throughout multiple eras of the internet and internet culture, and that's something that's very charming to me. Like, even if I had the option to change my username to like a quote-unquote better one, I don't think I would, because it sort of places me in that moment of time, you know. And speaking of which, the third question is, what was your first, or the first pet you ever created? My first pet was a Gellert named Bridget Blue. I put the color afterwards because obviously the name Bridget was taken. She was named after a Beanie Baby, actually. Two of my first pets were named after Beanie Babies. My Gellert Bridget and my Walkie Snip were both named after Beanie Babies, and I also had a Loop named Spice Girl. So that's a very sort of time capsule of that era on my account. I have two Beanie Baby pets, Spice Girl and Sabrina the Teenage Witch, related names. So I'd never really thought of that until now, but or until just recently, but it's kind of interesting and I like it. And I don't know, I mean, in the sense that it just kind of reminds me of my childhood, you know, and how I've evolved as a person. Alright, so the next question is, do you have any collections, or any Neopets collections, either on site or in real life? I wouldn't really say I collect Neopets merch or anything in real life. I have some plushies that I've sort of accumulated over the years, but I've never really been an active collector. They're on a shelf above me right now. I'm sorry I can't show you, because this is like my desk here, and it's just the way my house is set up. It's really hard to find a better location than this to film in. But anyways, yeah, so that's in terms of my real life stuff. Oh, I also had this shirt. My absolute favorite shirt was the Prism one, I think it was called. It had like sort of a spectrum of different colored squares and different colored Neopets sort of overlaid on top of them, and I just thought it was really cool. I think it might have been sparkly too, actually. I wish I could still find that shirt because I love it so much. It was my absolute favorite. But anyways, that's for my real life collection. I have a plushie gallery on site, and recently through the recycling capsules, I got a Jaren Usuki, and I was like, oh, it would be so cool to start collecting like specifically character themed Usukis, and I think like I would love to do that. Oh, I also have a Brinso gallery on my side account, but I only have 2 side accounts, and I don't really want to create another account just for the sake of having another gallery, because I've also been really interested in collecting fairy dolls recently, and the fairy mushrooms. I love their designs. I think they're really neat. So those are all things I would like to collect. But it's just, I actually put, in the suggestions board, I, 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 I gave a suggestion to allow, like extra gallery slots that you could buy with NC, sort of in the vein of the Neoboard pens and the extra pet slots, and just gave some ideas on maybe how it could work, because obviously if there were, you know, a huge list of galleries, it would kind of mess up the user lookup layout, so it would have to be maybe like a link to a page that encompassed the links to all the galleries, rather than having a list of gallery links right on the main page. I'm sorry, I'm getting off track, but nobody really showed interest in that, so maybe it's just me who wants that. I don't know. I outlined some other ideas. I don't know if it's good or not. I hope so. I mean, obviously someone with a more refined eye for web design and development and game design would have to go over it, but yeah, that was my big idea. Anyways, what else? Is there anything else I have as a collection? Oh, you know, I would really like, I mean, the Geekify and the What's Your Passion pins, I know, there are supposed to be boxes of What's Your Passion pins, sold through Hot Topic that was just announced, and I don't know, like, so many people in the comments were like, oh, please, Canadian Hot Topic. It is just so hard to, well, not hard, but like, there are 2 Geekify pins that I would really like. I bet you'll never guess which 2 they are, but the international shipping is just absolutely bonkers. I'm not in a position right now where I can afford to spend $60 on 2 pins, which is essentially what it would amount to if I were to buy them, and have them shipped to Canada, and that is just, I don't know, it's just so disappointing to me. I don't know what their sort of business is like, and if they do have options to distribute their merchandise to other retailers, but I don't know, it's just, I would really appreciate the merch being more accessible to international customers, because it's just truly unaffordable right now. Moving on. Oh, do you have a favorite Neopet? This is hard. There are a lot of Neopets I really love and appreciate. I feel like my appreciation for different Neopets outside of the ones I was really originally attracted to has grown throughout my years, and especially recently, but I think in my heart my number 1 will always be the Gellert. You know, when I just remember picking my very first Neopet and looking through all the pets, and the little puppy just stood out to me as a design. She was so cute, and I really connected with that. So yeah, that's my number 1. But I love them all. I also, yeah, oh, sorry, I'm gonna just go on a tangent if I keep talking about this, so I'll move on to the next one. Oh, okay. Next question, what was your favorite plot? The Fairies Ruin. That's not a hard one for me, but, yeah, I really love sort of the themes and the characters, and just the more I sort of study it, the more sort of stands out to me in terms of the way these characters sort of complement and contrast each other and are sort of posed as the antithesis of each other in a way that highlights certain character traits. And I know I'm thinking way too much about this, but I think it's a really incredible plot, and I appreciate all the thought that went into it. I adore the characters. It was such a fun story. So that would be my absolute favorite, although I love plots in general. I think in terms of the way the puzzles were integrated and the puzzles in general, the Tale of Woe would be my favorite in that regard. Just because, you know, I don't have this with the Fairies Ruin or other plots, but like with the Tale of Woe, when I reread the comic, I see the different story beats and these events, and I can remember exactly which puzzle I was doing at that time, which I have a very poor memory, but that just, you know, sparks that recognition in me, which is kind of a rare thing for me. I don't know. Okay, does anybody else, if anybody's watching with ADHD, do you have that thing where it's like you will be really sort of immersed in a piece of media, whether it's, you know, a movie, a show, a game, a book, and you'll enjoy it a lot at the time, but then a few weeks later it's just gone, like it's been completely wiped from your mind, and then maybe a few months, maybe a few years after that, you remember, hey, I know I watched that thing or played that game, whatever it may be, and I don't remember anything about it, and I would really like to experience that again. So then you start watching it, playing it, reading it, whatever, and your brain goes, no, we've already seen this. We can't immerse ourselves in this again. That's boring. That's not very nice. Like, we should be allowed to enjoy things we want to enjoy. But, you know, I'm getting off topic. So, anyways, what was it? Favorite plot? Okay, next question is, who's your favorite character? It's Bryn. I thought this would be a harder question, but it's not. I truly love Bryn. She's just so cute. Like, look at her. She is so sweet, and she's very strong and determined, but she also has this sort of softness to her. She's not jaded. She is willing to have an open mind in spite of her sort of views on justice, and she is just, she's sort of portrayed in a sense as somebody relatively unremarkable. Like, she is the Bright Veil's captain of the guard. She is the person who was specifically selected by the king to go investigate the fairy festival, but at the same time, she's not this glorious knight in shining armor. I really enjoy Bryn's character and sort of the depth she has in terms of who she is and who she wants to be and her heart. And I love her a lot. And I really wish there were more Bryn items. There is a disproportionate ratio of Hanzo items to Bryn items, and I I don't appreciate that. I'll be honest. I really wish there were more Bryn, and I wish there were Hanzo and Bryn Uzukis. Like, if they release more for like the next Usuki Day or something, or just in general, I would really hope they release more character ones and Fairy's Ruin ones in particular. Please, TNT. But yeah, that's I could ramble about this forever, so I guess we should move on to, if you could live anywhere in Neopia, where would it be? This is hard. I'm really interested in Dargan. You know, I've been on the Dargan Altador Cup team for the past several years. I really love them, but the more I think about it, there's another option is that I would really like, where I would like to live, would be the Haunted Woods, specifically in or around the deserted fairground. I love abandoned carnivals and theme parks. They are just so beautiful and captivating and enthralling and engaging. I adore that, the sort of the atmosphere and the personality they have. So that, it speaks to my heart, and I love theme parks in general in terms of sort of the joy and the wonder and the excitement that exists within their energy, and the color and the vibrance. You know, I really, those are really important things to me. So I would love the deserted fairground, but I do not like that it's so gloomy all the time. In the Haunted Woods, that would be a problem for me. I think I need the sunshine. So the other place I think would be Brightvale. I love stained glass windows. I value art and literature and education. I love the sun. I love that it is one of the few places that actually specifically says there is at least sleet in the winter time, which is important to me. I just need to have snow for Christmas. I would be very, very upset if that did not occur. So, I really want to live somewhere where it snows at least a little bit in the winter. That would be kind of a deal breaker for me, I suppose. So I guess I'm leaning towards Brightvale. But Rue Island, honestly, is another option. I love how colorful and fun it is, you know, like sort of that theme park vibe that I mentioned before. I feel like is sort of encompassed by Rue Island. I love carousels. I love their colors. I think I might have already said that. They have the best Altador Cup uniforms. So I guess those are my four options. Dargan, Haunted Woods, Brightvale, and Rue Island. I don't know, I guess I'm probably leaning towards Brightvale, but it's so hard because there are things that really draw me in about all of them. Yeah, that's a little I have to say about that one, I think. And, alright, so next question is, do you currently have any Neopets goals or projects that you are working on? Oh my goodness. Okay, so in terms of on-site stuff, I have plans to update my user lookup. I have a vision for it, but it requires a lot of art and sort of figuring things out with the coding that I just do not have the time to put into right now, because I'm sort of in the final stretch of this semester of university, so a lot of things have been put on the back burner in terms of personal projects, which is also why I haven't really been super proactive about uploading videos. I also really would like to do to make pet pages for all of my pets, to have art or reference pictures for each of them. What else? I think those are sort of the main goals in terms of things I'm working on for the site itself right now. In terms of other projects, I have, let's see, there are a lot of videos. I'm working on a video right now, which is, has been taking a lot of research. It's sort of a lore video. It outlines sort of the lore of different pets, different species of pets on site, and their history on the website, and then there will be a second part that sort of goes into the characters that those species represent and what kind of traits are reflected in them. So it's sort of like a site lore / character analysis video, and I'm sorry, I hope I'm pronouncing your YouTube name right. I'm sorry, but yeah, you really helped me with coming up with that idea and sort of fleshing it out into what I would really like it to be, so thank you, and I hope the video is good. But there are a lot of references in it, like citations rather, and because I really wanted to provide information that I found myself on the site, so I've been doing a lot of sort of digging into Neopets and to retrieve information that can be directly referenced about all the different pets, and it's been taking a while, and also the citation list is very long, and I don't know if it's actually going to fit in the description, so that might be an issue, but it was really important to me to provide the references in a way that would be accessible to everyone. I didn't just want to take information from fan sites. I really wanted to find this information myself and give it to people in a way that would sort of maybe allow them to explore the site for themselves and see how I got what I did. I don't want to devalue the work that goes into fan sites and fan communities at all. That's not what I'm saying here. I just, a lot of them don't actually cite where they got the information from, or they will cite another fan site, and I just wanted to ensure that everything I was putting into the video was verifiable and accessible. So that's sort of where I'm coming from on that front. Sorry, I got off oh, what else? Oh, okay, is there anything else I'm working on? I'd really like to sort of do more lore videos, not so much in sort of recounting the story and history of Neopia, but more sort of character and meta-analysis sort of videos. I'm really interested in, like, as you can probably tell, I have a lot of thoughts about the Fairies' Ruin that I would like to share. And it's funny, there are so many things, like I mentioned before, that I forget, and when I'm making these videos, if I'm just sort of speaking off the cuff, I can sort of misspeak or just have details slip my mind, but the Fairies Rune, I can remember down to what was happening in which page and in which panel. So yeah, I'd really like to just talk about characters and their motivations, and you know, I have a lot of thoughts on that front in terms of what goes into creating a story and the themes that persist throughout, and the significance of subtlety and character development and relationship development, and just what the creative work itself is trying to tell us, or trying to show, not tell us. And of course a lot of that is up to subjective interpretation, but I just really love talking about these characters, and it's really fun for me. So I'd really love to make more videos about that. I'd love to do more art. I really have a lot of ideas and plans I want to execute. I'd really love to draw Alicia in her Dargan robes from that alternate histories. I forget exactly what it's called, but there was an NC event. I think that would be cool and fun. I really would like to draw Sophie and Reginald, because their relationship in terms of, you know, sibling relationships is probably my favorite part of the Tale of Woe, and the most wholesome thing and the sweetest thing in any Neopets plot, in my opinion. I really, it's very subtle, but it's sort of shown throughout the story that out of her two siblings, she's really close to Reginald. Like, in spite of the circumstances that brought her to this point, she still calls him Reggie. She's still excited to see him. She hugs him, and, you know, he's the one she wants to play with as a kid, and it's just such a sweet sort of background element to the plot that just gives it so much heart. And I really love that. And I was so disappointed in well, not overall disappointed in the trick or treat this year, but when they said Reginald was giving out the books, I thought there would be like a hub page or something where we actually got to see him and maybe get some dialogue from him. So I really was let down when we never actually got any new Reginald content, but oh well. I still really enjoyed the stories in the trick or treat bag, so that was cool. What else? Is there anything else I'm working on? Oh, I started writing a fanfic. It's a Brinzo fic, of course. But yeah, it's sort of a holiday story, but I think it sort of encompasses the theme of a new era, and it takes place after the Fairies Rune, and I'm just really excited to finally have sort of a fully fleshed out idea for this fic. I'm still only on the first chapter. In terms of my writing. Again, I've been really just focused on school, but hopefully within maybe the next month or so I can start posting, because I'm really excited for that. This will be the first, like, I've written fanfic in the past, but I don't know that I've ever actually seriously published anything online, so this will be the first. And I'm nervous, but I'm excited. And what else? Is there anything else? Not that I can think of right now. I'm probably forgetting a lot of things. I do have other plans for Neopets videos I'd like to make as well. So, that is the future for me. Alright, and this will be the final question. What do you love most about Neopets? I don't think I can pick just one thing. I mean, in terms of the site itself and the world of Neopia, I think part of the reason why I appreciate and enjoy the plot so much is that it's so... the way these stories are told through comics makes it very sort of easy to digest and engage with the lore, as opposed to just having a bunch of text on the screen that you have to read through. You can see what's happening, you can sort of engage with the comic through like the scroll over elements. It's not just a bunch of text in your face at once, and I know that maybe sounds silly, but for somebody like me, that really makes a difference. And I think it makes a difference in general. I think that's like the way the lore is presented in such an immersive way that engages the community is, I think, part of the reason why Neopets still stands up to other browser-based pet games that are better managed. And Neopets is really the only one I've gotten really deeply into. Like, I've tried a few other of the more popular current games, but I could never play for more than a couple weeks without just kind of getting bored of them. They just didn't engage me in the same way that Neopets does. I didn't feel connected to the world. I feel like Neopets is presented in a way that feels like more than just sort of collecting and hoarding the best pets. You really sort of feel like your pets are part of the world, at least for somebody like me. It might be different for you, but that's sort of how I engage with Neopets, and how it's sort of important to me. I think the only other virtual pet site that I was really into for a while was, way back in the day, was Power Pets. And I recently tried, I thought, I wonder if Power Pets is still around. And it is, but it is, wow. I mean, no offense to Power Pets. Oh my god, I'm so sorry if there's anyone from the Power Pets team watching this right now. But it was a lot to take in, just how much has changed, and the absolute chaos I was slapped in the face with it just on the homepage. I'm sorry. But yeah, I used to love Power Pets. There was the way books worked on there was that users could actually write their own books, and then those books would be the books that would restock in the store for other users to buy. And then instead of just reading the book to your pet as a consumable item, you could actually read the stories that these other users had written. And I've always thought that was a really cool feature that I appreciated on there. But that's not about Neopets. Let's get back on topic. Yeah, I really love that Neopets has sort of such a diverse range of features for a diverse range of people. Like, there are people who are really into art and writing. There are features for people who are sort of more competitive. There are people who are really into trading and the economy, for better or for worse. I'm sorry, just kidding. There are, there's just people who just want to engage with these stories, and I also really appreciate that it's sort of set up in a way that you can feel like you're part of it, even if you are very shy or have trouble making friends. You don't feel like you're necessarily penalized for not being super social. And I think that's also sort of by virtue of the fact that, people under 13 just could not have those interactions. But still, I really appreciate that, especially for somebody like me. I mean, it's only really been recently, since I started, since I guess the beginning of this whole new era, that I've actually felt like sort of part of the community in a social sense. And I'm just so grateful for the people I've connected with here, and for everyone who's commented. That's really, it's really magical and amazing. And I also really appreciate the fact that there are sort of more off-site Neopets communities blooming now. I appreciate the fact that I feel like as the community has more opportunities to grow, there are also more opportunities for people to engage and feel like they're actually part of the community through different avenues, and on different sites. And it's maybe easier for people to find places within the community where they do feel that they fit in and can connect with other users, and that's really special to me, and that's really important to me. So okay, what do I love about Neopets? I'm getting off topic again. There's something else. So apart from all that, I guess I love the creativity that Neopets fosters. I love the way people are sort of able to interpret the world through their own lens and explore it and express themselves on their own terms, in a sense, in the sense that Neopia is a world full of magic and possibility, and there are so many different ways of viewing it and engaging with it, and you can sort of create your own world through Neopia. There are so many Neopian Times comic writers and artists that I've admired over the years, who all have their sort of own interpretations of Neopets, and nobody is out there saying, well, this one's wrong, this one's correct, this one's canon. They're all equally celebrated, and I think that's really beautiful. I mean, sorry. That just reminded me that this is sort of so antithetical to what I just said, but I just remembered, in terms of, what was the question? It was about collecting or something. I'm sorry, I left my headphones, so it's gonna make noise. Oh yeah, about collections. One piece of merch, like real life, Neopets item that I would really like to have, more than any other, would be, a lore book, like an IRL Neopedia that's like this big, thick coffee table book with beautiful, original, never be seen before art that has more in-depth profiles of all the characters and original little stories and anecdotes about them, and how they relate to one another, and more in-depth profiles about the lands and their culture and their climate and their population. I would go absolutely feral for that. Yeah, sort of. Sorry, that was a whole other question, but yeah, I really love the world of Neopia, and I also, in terms of there being something for everyone, like I said before, well, maybe not everyone, but how there are all these different lands and that sort of appeal to different interests. Like there are medieval fantasy areas, there's the futuristic space station, there's like steampunk kind of stuff, there's what else, like the haunted woods, there's the deserted fairground, there's all sorts, and that's really fun and incredible too. So that's another thing that I love about Neopets, the stories, the people. I mean, even though I've never been a super active part of the community, I love the community in general. I feel like there is so much magic within Neopets. You know, I know not everybody is sort of spiritual, but I would say I'm a fairly spiritual person, and I do feel like it's almost haunted in a way. Like there is spirit and energy in that spaghetti that we always talk about. There's, you know, it's been touched by so many creative people in terms of their heart and their playfulness, and I do feel that, you know, there's pieces of, you know, there's little pieces of them that they left behind and shared with us, and not just the Neopets team, but so many different users, so many people who inspired other people and then in turn inspired more people. There's such an energy about Neopets, and you know, maybe this is crazy, but I feel like that has to do with how Neopets has survived, especially over this past decade, despite the odds. There's something there that's more than what can be explained just through analytics. There's real magic there. I truly believe that. Yeah, I think that's the note I'm gonna end on. Thank you so much if you made it through this entire video. Wow, I'm sorry, but good for you. I appreciate it. Thank you. I really hope I'll have more videos out soon. I hope any of that made sense. I hope you maybe enjoyed this. But that was the last question. Yeah, I knew that was the last question, but I doubt myself so much sometimes. I guess I should say goodbye now. Thank you again, and I will see you next time. Bye!